today, I think there are just three armies in the world which know what is the war of the 21st century. It's American army, it's Ukrainian army, and it's Russian army. Even watching how Israeli army is acting, I see with these columns of tanks moving. In Ukrainian reality, they will not exist for more than 1 hour. So this is the war of still of the 20th century, maybe the end of 20th century. But in Ukraine, we have a drone war, we have electronic warfare, we have a lot of things which were unseen before, just in movies. And now Russian army is with this experience. So if Putin will be in any way successful in his war in Ukraine, and also he is on the war footage already, Russian economy is on war footage. He is not afraid of any sanctions anymore. So all the balances and checks on Putin are now removed. So this will be a real monster army, war economy, combat experience, and Putin will not stop. So we need to stop him in Ukraine.
Can you tell me your feelings about the amount of attention that has turned away from your country through completely understandable reasons, actually?
What my feelings are? First of all, I'm very happy to see that the first visit of new Foreign Secretary and old Prime Minister, Mr. Cameron, is to Ukraine, to Kiev, and to my native Odessa. And I think this is a very important choice of places to visit, and it shows understanding of priorities, which is very good. In general, I would like to say thank you to all British people and UK government. Prime ministers changed, foreign secretaries are changing, but the commitment of the United Kingdom to the war in Ukraine, to supporting of our nation is unwavering, and we appreciate it enormously. That's really very important. But yeah, today it's even more important than ever because the war in Middle East is distracting the attention. Also, many people have got used to what's going on in our country. And in general, when there is not much media coverage, people think that maybe everything's okay. In October, I was on the meeting of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, where I represent Ukraine. And one of the parliamentarians, not just an ordinary person, but a politician, came to me with the words, "Oh, I think it's so nice that you have so big improvement of situation." I asked him, "What do you mean?" And he said to me, "I don't see any more Ukraine in media. So I decided that the war is over, or maybe it is not so active now." So that is a big problem because unfortunately the war continues and it is as much brutal as it was.
Yeah. Can you tell us then maybe what's happened over the last week or so in your country, the things that we need to know and perhaps that we would have known if our focus hadn't been on the Middle East?
What's going on? Russia continues to attack now after Ukraine started its counteroffensive in the southern part. Now Russia is trying to take back initiative and they are attacking more on the eastern part of Ukraine. New awful attacks this night. Selidove, which is the town in the eastern Ukraine, was attacked by Russian missile, and residential building was destroyed. 4 civilians were killed. My native Odessa is attacked probably during the last time most of all, because Russia tries to disrupt the the commercial navigation in the Black Sea, and Ukraine tries to arrange it to send our crops to the world, to decrease the world food prices, to save people from inflation in developed countries, and to save people from starvation in the developing countries. So that's what's going on now in Ukraine during the last days.
Do you worry that Putin will strike harder and firmer and in more ever increasingly nasty ways because he knows that attention might be focused elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm sure that Putin is happy about this, and I'm sure that Putin plays at least part of role in what had happened in the Middle East and what is continuing to happen in Middle East. And he wants as much chaos in the world as possible. and he tries to use this chaos in order to achieve his goals. And that is very dangerous, because you need to remember, like many people, they are decided that Putin is already stopped. Okay, maybe, I mean, the people who doesn't care much about Ukraine, but they think that, okay, Putin's army is mostly destroyed. He is not so big threat anymore. This is a very big mistake, because Putin's army received what is the most important in warfare. This is a combat experience. So today, I think there are just three armies in the world which know what is the war of the 21st century. It's American army, it's Ukrainian army, and it's Russian army. Even watching how Israeli army is acting, I see with these columns of tanks moving. In Ukrainian reality, they will not exist for more than 1 hour. So this is the war of still of the 20th century, maybe the end of 20th century. But in Ukraine, we have a drone war, we have electronic warfare, we have a lot of things which were unseen before, just in movies. And now Russian army is with this experience. So if Putin will be in any way successful in his war in Ukraine, and also he is on the war footage already, Russian economy is on war footage. He is not afraid of any sanctions anymore. So all the balances and checks on Putin are now removed. So these will be a real monster army, war economy, combat experience, and Putin will not stop. So we need to stop him in Ukraine.
There was a lot of excitement about the change in personnel in this country with regards to our Foreign Secretary, Mr. Goncharenko. I don't know how much you know about David Cameron, but does he seem like the right kind of guy to you? You know him personally? Excellent. So tell us what it means for you that he is now the Foreign Secretary for this country.
First of all, I would like to say that I was sure that he will be a strong supporter of Ukraine, and his first visit shows me and all Ukrainians that he is, really is, and he is very experienced. He's former prime minister. So I think that this line, which was Liz Truss, James Cleverly, now David Cameron, they're all very strong, and they're all real friends of our country. And in general, the United Kingdom is showing leadership in support of Ukraine. The UK was the first to provide Ukraine with modern tanks, not many, but that was the first step. And after this, other nations joined with the long-range missiles. The support of the United Kingdom in the first months of the Russian invasion, when Boris Johnson was prime minister, was extremely important. So UK showed leadership and continues to show leadership. David Cameron is very experienced and strong politician. So I think he can make difference, and he has his own personal authority among other, being a former prime minister, among other ministers of foreign affairs and in the Western elites. And I hope that he will use this authority to push ahead Ukrainian agenda, because this is really our common agenda.
Is Boris Johnson relevant to your country anymore?
We are very thankful to Boris Johnson. I'm not coming inside of anything which people think about Boris Johnson inside the United Kingdom. That is, I am external. I'm Ukrainian citizen. But being Ukrainian citizen, I want to tell you that we are extremely thankful to Boris Johnson. There are streets in Ukrainian cities named after him. And because his role in the beginning of this invasion was very important to really have a reaction, to really have a pushback from the West to what's happened in Ukraine. Because many, I know this not from the media stories, but I know this from the first person experience, that he was pushing when many other Western leaders were in shock, were just shocked and disoriented. So he was active, he was pushing. That was very important for us. We're very thankful for this to him.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That is
Thank you.
Ukrainian MP Oleksiy Goncharenko.